Lawmakers are pressing the Biden administration in a recent Fox News report that the Customs and Border Patrol could be sending Veterans Affairs doctors to the southern border to help with the expected migrant surge. The VA personnel would give migrants COVID shots and other medical care. Over 50 Republican lawmakers writing a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, calling the reported proposal, quote, deeply troubling. Joining me right now is New York Congresswoman and House Foreign Affairs Committee member Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. You signed on to that letter along with your colleagues in the House. Tell us about it.
Thank you. Can you imagine we're going to spend even more resources taken out of the VA? Right now, we have waiting lines just to give care to veterans who served our nation who cannot get surgery. They cannot get life-saving care. They're in line. And now we have this huge bureaucracy of the VA that, by the way, under the VA Mission Act that I was a co-sponsor of and President Trump signed into law, we've actually eased some of the burdens that the VA has in delivering this care to veterans. Now we're going to just divert that to the border where we're spending billions of dollars caring for people. And I'm not against humanitarian efforts, but we should be making our border secure, building the wall, as it costs us money every single day not to build the barrier, the wall, and keep our communities safe.
Well, that's right. They are removing Title 42. So instead of sending the illegal migrants back home, they're going to get doctors there to help them care for them and give them COVID shots. I mean, that is the plan. I'm a little confused about where we are in COVID because the Biden administration is extending the mask mandate on planes, and yet they're removing Title 42.
Yeah, it's totally duplicitous by there. It's all about politics, as you know. But it's interesting that everything that the Biden administration does reminds me a lot of the former Mayor de Blasio of New York. Just when you see the common sense issue is let's secure the border, let's make sure that we keep something like Title 42 in place, where we have more than COVID problems. I've been to the border, you've been to the border. I watched as they took care of children coming at the border. The doctors examined them. That cost the taxpayers money. They had diseases like lice, which was prevalent, measles, mumps. Elderly people in some cases had tuberculosis. HIV/AIDS was also present at the border. All kinds of diseases there. It's not just COVID-19, but keeping this. I think the authoritarianism. Again, it reminds me of de Blasio. I hate to make this terrible, but I can't think of anything worse. And de Blasio, I think, is probably the worst mayor of New York in the modern era for sure. I see the Biden administration acting much the same. Just when you see a common sense solution, they do the opposite and make it even worse. And you wonder if there's a political calculation in that, which I'm sure there is.
Well, that's what all of the AGs were talking about when I last went to the border and met AGs from across the country who said every state is a border state because of the enormous number of drugs coming in, the fentanyl coming in, and the smuggling. But